watching Kaitlyn Today. On today's episode, we will be having an extremely successful professional dancer, James Combo Marino, and UConn basketball player, Brendan Allen. So, I have to know, how did you get the nickname Combo?
That's a funny story. My friend, I started dancing probably about 4 or 5 years ago. I was training seriously, and we used to try and form crews and practice with my friends and just get into the love of dancing. And he was an underground dancer. He used to pop a lot, do a little house, and his favorite thing to do was tutting, and that's where you make all the angles with your hands, all the shapes. And his nickname was Cairo because it's an Egyptian style, like they used to say King Tut style.
Yeah.
And we were hanging out one night, actually eating, grabbing a bite to eat, and he's looking at me. He's like, "I have an underground name, Cairo." He's like, "You don't have a nickname yet." And I like, even though I'm a commercial dancer and I want to be a professional dancer, I love the underground world. So we were sitting there. I'm terrible with names. I can't think of names. So I was like, "Listen, you need to give me a nickname because I have no idea." So sitting there, and he just looks at me. He's like, "Every time we practice, we'll start freestyling, and then you'll start making up a combination, which is what I teach in class.
Right.
In class, I teach combinations to the students." And he looked at me and he said, "Combinations, combo. James Combo Marino."
Has dancing been your only passion?
No, not at all. My first love was soccer.
Wow.
I played soccer since I could walk. And I still love it. Still, actually, even though I love dance, it's something I can't get away from. I love soccer probably just as much, if not more. It's just,
wow.
yeah, it's crazy. When I still watch games or I go and play with my friends, it's still something that I have a fire inside, that I just love to do it, and I love watching it. I love being around it. Yeah, but I can't get away from it. But I do love dancing just as much. It's just that soccer came first, and I did it my whole life.
So when you play, you're just really intense and you're watching the games.
And it's not even so much that, when I watch the games, I'm so intense. I'm crazy. Some of my friends love watching games with me because I'm just wild. And I go to a lot of games in LA. The LA Galaxy just won the championship, by the way. MLS Cup, back-to-back championships. I just recently started going to their games a lot.
Right.
And I sit in the fan section. We sit there and we cheer, we sing chants, and I just love to do it. I love being around it. But as far as playing, I'm not as intense as I used to be, because I just love the game. I don't love the competition aspect as much with me being involved in it.
Right. So I read that you used to play professionally?
Yes, I used to train professionally. When I graduated high school, I didn't want to go to college, and I wanted to be a professional soccer player. I knew that since I was young, probably 2nd, 3rd grade. So that was my goal, my dream. I moved to Italy. My dad, fortunately, had a connection over there, moved to Italy. I lived in Perugia, Italy for a number of months and trained professionally. It's a long story that didn't work out because of visa issues, and just me not being a citizen of Italy was tough to get started, because when I went over there I was only 17 years old.
Right. So,
yeah, I did train for a little while. But then coming back to it, when I came back to America and started playing, I played D1 at Fairfield University. That's where it kind of fell off, and I stopped playing. Issues happened with the team, and that's when I really started getting into dance, because dance for me was an expression of, at the time, how depressed and how angry I was with not playing soccer anymore.
You were signed by an agency, right? Did this open new doors for you?
It did. So when I started going to New York City, I just started taking classes from numerous teachers and just getting involved and understanding again how the business works, and that I want to be a professional dancer, not a professional class taker. And someone gave me a shot, a choreographer by the name of Hollywood. I thank him a lot for this. He was doing a audition piece for Windsor Gordon. I don't know if you're familiar with her. She had a hit single on the radio called Dirty Talk, and they were doing an audition. He asked me, "Hey, can you do my audition for me?" And I wasn't from New York City, but I was like, "Yeah, listen, one of the dates, I'll come do it." I was hungry. I wanted to do it. Did the audition. Felt good. Did a good job. His choreography was great. I got a call probably like 4 hours later from an agent, from Black Agency. Her name was Fatima. And she's like, "Hey, listen, we want to sign you." And I didn't know anything about the agency world at all. I was just like, okay. Didn't know a thing. And she goes, "Oh yeah, and also Windsor wants to hire you for..."
don't say nothing, I just wanna make sure that your eyes are working and what goes on here only concerns the two of us, 'cause it's only the two of us.
So I started right away that night working at, like, the day I got signed with the agency, I was dancing with Windsor Gordon.
I see that you're a very accomplished dancer.
A little bit. compared to how it was last year, absolutely. I've been working hard and do a couple things.
I know you danced with Elite NYC and you've gone on tour with Mariah Carey.
Elite Team is a great organization put on by two choreographers. Their names Lisette Bustamante and Shonique Sneed. Very inspirational people, very hardworking people, and people who just know about the business. And I joined the program. It's a program to help aspiring professional dancers get into the business and understand how to work with your agency, how to take class, where to spend your money, how to invest your money in yourself. So I worked with them for a little while, getting their feedback, and that's where I got a lot of my information from, to be able to go out and audition properly and make this career choice worth it. So I did that, and then, so I was in New York for 2 years, I realized I needed to make a career path change, and all the work for what I do is in Los Angeles.
Wow.
And it was kind of scary to think about, but even when I was going to New York, I knew that, and I always in the back of my mind I was going to end up there. Whether it was next year, whether it was 5 years, I knew I was going to go. So I moved out there, and it was tough transitioning at first, getting used to whose classes to take. It's like basically what I did in New York City, I had to do all over again.
Right.
Moved to LA. Got lucky though, one of my friends was dancing for Rihanna at the time, and knew that Mariah Carey was looking for another dancer, and they were doing a TV performance.
Mm-hmm.
The New York Giants played the Dallas Cowboys on opening night, and Mariah Carey was performing, and they were showing it on NBC or whatever they show the, I think it was a Wednesday night game actually, performing on a Wednesday, and I got hired for the job, and that job changed my life.
Wow.
Because it was my first really big job. Like, it's Mariah Carey. She's a living legend. She's one of the last living legends we have, still alive, that's been making music, and great music for a long time, and one of the most respected vocalists ever. So when that happened, I still to this day don't even believe it. And I've been doing things with her since, thankfully.
So, have any of these experiences really changed your view on the dancing industry?
Yikes. That is an interesting question. You kind of stumped me. I've been doing good. I've been doing pretty good so far. View in what way of the industry?
Positively, negatively, how have you, you had one idea?
It's interesting. Yeah, it's interesting because, and this might be taken the wrong way if it's seen by the wrong people or the right people. I don't know. I love dancing. I love everything about it. I love every style. Even if I don't do it, I can watch it and I can appreciate it because I understand it's more than just the movement. It's a feeling. It's people telling their stories, and a really passionate dancer is showing you how they feel. So I love that, and I love the performance aspect. I love the underground world where it's literally just so much raw energy and just they love the art. But I don't like the dance industry. I don't like the dance world because I didn't grow up in it. I grew up in a sports world, so everything is completely different to me. And the kind of people around me, they're great people, but sometimes I can't take it too much. I like to separate my life. I like to do so many other things than dance, and a lot of dancers are dance. And don't get me wrong, I practice a lot too, but I can sit down and watch a movie and not think about dance for a little while and get away from it. Mm-hmm. Or I can go to a soccer game. It doesn't have to be, oh, is there a dance event? Oh, is there a class today? Oh, okay, can we just not dance today and go to the beach? Because I understand, and it has nothing to do with being lazy, because I used to over-practice too. I used to literally practice every day where I wasn't doing anything but dancing, which helped me get to where I was. But now that I'm at a certain level, I realize the importance of doing other things to bring in inspiration into my work, and just to give my mind a rest. So it's frustrating because I like the people that are they're very positive, and they share so much. The dancers share so much that other people in other sports or industries or jobs, they don't get to share with each other. So I appreciate that because it helps shape my views in my life But sometimes it's just the business itself is frustrating, just because of the way it's ran. But I understand the way it's ran, you know, like I get why certain things, you could be doing a show and you're getting ready, you've rehearsed all week, you're getting ready to go on stage, you got your stuff on, you got your outfit, you got your shape up done, all the girls have their makeup done, they look beautiful. 5 minutes before a performance, they could be, hey listen, we're cutting all the dancers. Even though you just spent the entire week ready to perform, you put in hours, and be cut like that. Which sucks. It's horrible. But at the end of the day, that's just how it is.
Right.
And if you don't have tough skin, it's tough to deal with.
Right.
But it's something you choose to do, so you know that's going to be coming. You know, you just got to be prepared for it.
You're a youth advocate as well, correct?
So I teach a lot. When I started getting heavy into teaching, I taught at 2 studios, actually 3. But I always wanted to teach as many kids as possible. A lot of times when you're in studios, you're locked into just those kids. And no problem with that. It's how most studios are run. But I wanted more than that. There's too many people out there that don't get exposure to things that they need just because they don't know about it.
Right.
And for me, I want to teach at schools, at elementary schools, middle schools, high schools, and go to school dances and be around them and get them dancing and involved in having fun. And I try to get involved with kids as much as possible. I love it. It's tough because as much as I want to be a professional dancer, and before I wanted to be a professional soccer player, since I was probably a young kid, probably 12 or 13 years old, I realized the biggest thing I wanted to do was be a positive role model. This dancing stuff is great for me, like I love it, it's something I love to do, but even if I never danced for Mariah, or I never danced for whoever else I'll be fortunate to dance with, I'd be fine just doing it and being good enough to inspire others to be the best they can, but teaching people how to live a good life is my biggest goal, every day. I work towards that every day. I don't really care about much else, like yes I do, but in my work, you can see that I'm trying to make people better and inspire them, make them feel something. Because a lot of times I see today, people get lost in who to follow. There's so much information being thrown at people today, and some of it's not good, but they don't know that because it's just mainstream media. And I feel it's important for kids to eat right. Like today, I don't even want to talk about your school lunches. It's really bad, and especially here in America where we have so much money that we can't feed you guys regular real food, raw food, fruits, vegetables. You know, it makes me really angry actually because you're setting yourselves up, you're basically killing yourselves by eating this type of food. And kids don't understand that. They think they like it because it tastes good. McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's. It's great that it's fast food and you can get it like this. I'd rather live 12 years longer and wait 5 more minutes for my food than eat this food because I think it tastes good. Because, I don't know, it's really messed up. So that's the thing with the youth is I want to teach them that a lot of other people aren't giving them. I want to teach them how to eat, how to exercise, how to, just everything that they do to their best ability.
Do you have any advice for our audience and aspiring dancers?
Find something that makes you happy. That's the first thing. There's going to be so many things. If you don't have a passion, if you don't have a passion, try a lot of things until you find something that you like to do. Once you think you found your passion and you really start to do it and understand it and like it and enjoy it, no matter what anyone says, don't give up. Because for me, the way I look at it with a lot of dancers that I train, even for myself, there's people who are going to look at you today and tell you that you can't do it. But if you put enough practice in and enough work in, if they see you in a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years from now, 10 years, you're going to get better if you keep practicing and you keep doing it. So especially with dancing, there's a lot of people that they don't want you to make it because they want to make it.
Right.
And I understand that, you know, it's a competitive world. But if you want to be competitive, then just keep working yourself. Don't try and cut somebody out of the picture because you want to be lazier.
Right.
So practice. Just keep on it and just love it. There's a lot of other sides that come into it, especially when you get to the business side. But always remember why you do it and stay grounded. Stay a good person, you know, because it all comes back tenfold when you really do it the right way.
To catch more of James's combination dance class at the Julie Lang Studio of Dance, visit www.facebook.com/KaitlynToday.
First off, I love journalism, and it all started back at St. Gabriel's School in Windsor. When I was in 4th grade, I started writing for my school's newspaper, and I began to work closely with the chief editor, Mrs. McCaffrey. When middle school rolled around and I was in 7th grade, my English teacher, Mrs. Doty, really pushed me to enter a contest. It was a writing contest to become a student reporter for Weekly Reader's Current Events magazine. And I entered. I didn't expect to win because it was a national contest. But in the summer, I got a call and I won, and I was so excited. And I was like, hey, let me try this area. So I took the time to write articles for them and interview a few people like Carl Hyacin and Bow Wow. And I really liked that area. There were 2 events that were broadcast over the local Connecticut channels. And of those 2, I was actually interviewed. And that's when I began to take an interest in broadcast journalism. After watching those news reporters, I really began to want to inform the people just like they did. But I also wanted to entertain them in the same way, and that's how Kaitlyn Today was born.
I'm here with Brendan Allen today at Gamble Pavilion at the University of Connecticut. Hi Brendan, so how are you today?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good, thank you. So how did you first become interested in basketball?
I first started playing basketball, I would say at the age of 14. I initially played football. Football was my primary sport. And the only reason I played basketball was because all my friends did.
Right.
And I just didn't want to be left out, you know what I
Right.
mean? So I started playing basketball, I would say at the age of 14, around 8th grade.
Now, how did you make the transition from football to basketball?
It was tough because they're 2 totally different sports,
Right.
even though you think they're very similar. But most of the time, I wasn't really good. I would just get out there and just play, you know what I mean? So I wouldn't be left out. But I mean, most of the time I would just get out there with my friends and run around, you know what I mean? Just have a ball.
Yeah. I know you have a sister that is also a fantastic college athlete. Does it run in the family?
My father was actually an All-American in track and field in high school, and he was ranked 5th in the nation, I believe. My mother actually ran track as well, and my father played football in high school, and he had offers from like Miami and Duke and places like that. My mother didn't really have any offers, but she was a really good track athlete at Windsor High School.
Oh, so you all went to Windsor?
My father's from New Haven.
Okay.
He went to Wilbur Cross High. Yeah, but my mother's actually from Windsor. She went to Windsor High School a long time ago.
How was it attending Windsor High School?
I truly enjoyed my experience at Windsor High School, just because Windsor High School was very diverse. I think compared to other schools, you know what I mean? You had a range of different people, you know what I mean? Just, you know, depending on their ethnicity or their background or just, you know what I mean, their socioeconomic situation. So I really, really liked Windsor High School, you know what I mean? The friends I made and just the times we've had. But one thing about Windsor High is practice and schoolwork is completely different than practice and schoolwork at the University of Connecticut.
Right.
Just, you know what I mean, the time management, things like that.
Yeah.
But definitely put things in perspective, and I do miss it sometimes.
What was it like playing for Coach Smith?
Coach Smith was a very demanding coach. He was very hard on us at times, and at times we didn't understand it, and we were, you know, upset. You know, why is he yelling? Why is he upset with us? But I think it was just because he wanted to bring out the best in his players in order to get them to the next level, or where he felt they would be most suitable, whether it's Division III, Division II, or Division I.
So what experience most stuck with you? From his experience, what stuck with you?
From Coach Smith?
Yeah.
I would say the one thing that I think about with Coach Smith, an experience I've had with him was I was on junior varsity, and I just had a pretty good game, and he came up to me and he said, you know, I think you can be a really good player if you put in the work. And I think about that pretty often, and that's one of the things that pushed me to become better in basketball because, you know, I mean, he believed that I could be a good player.
You do a lot of traveling with the team. Is there any certain location other than Gamble Pavilion where you enjoy playing?
I wouldn't say I prefer any location. I love playing here at Gamble because it's such a small area.
Right.
And when it fills with people, it's like, it literally feels like this place is shaking. You know what I mean? When,
Yeah.
when you have big games. But this is my favorite spot. I like playing at places like Syracuse and Louisville because those are like also pretty big arenas. And when they fill with people, even though it can be kind of hostile because you're not at a home game, it's pretty interesting to play there too.
So, like with your game with Syracuse, and you had it at the XL Center. How did you feel with such a big venue?
Initially, before people even arrive at the stadium, you get this. It's like a feeling of, I wouldn't say anxiety, but anxiousness.
Right.
Just because you know it's a rivalry game and you know it's going to be, such a heated battle. And it's almost like you're on edge, you get goosebumps and you're just ready to get out there and play. So,
Yeah.
Games like that are probably, those are the games that basketball players live for.
If you could play any professional basketball player, retired or in the game, who would it be?
It's a tough one because there's so many great ones out there. I'd say I would have to play Michael Jordan.
Oh.
I don't know if I'd win, but I would definitely want to play Michael Jordan, seeing as, in my opinion, he's the greatest, basketball player ever.
Now, how did you end up in Maine for a year?
Well, out of high school, I didn't have any scholarship offers or any real looks from any colleges. And I had broken my leg my junior year, so that kind of hurt, the opportunity to go to college on a scholarship. So I decided that initially I was just going to go to Southern Connecticut State University and just be a student and not play any sports at all. But a family friend of mine recommended Bridgeton Academy, which is the prep school in Maine. And I went up there for a visit and I worked out for the coach, and it was one of the hardest workouts I've ever had in my life. I wanted to pass out, but one thing led to another, and I ended up going up there for 8 months, and it led me to the University of Connecticut.
Wow. Now, can you tell me about your coaches at Maine?
My primary coach was Coach Whit LeJour, and I would say besides my father, he was the best coach I've ever had in my life, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he really I think he really cared about his players, even though he was extremely hard on us at times. He really cared about us, and he pushed us to, become better. Even guys that didn't play as much at Bridgeton, like initially I didn't play, as much as I would have liked. However, I think just his coaching style, and he was really in tune with what he was doing. So, it just really helped,
So how do you relax during the off season?
During the off season, I'm a pretty normal guy. I just hang out with my family, with my sisters. I play video games, every once in a while I read. And I just like to relax, really, just, talk with my mom and my dad, and, go on vacations, do simple things like that, really.
So what about basketball? Do you try to keep in touch with your friends and who play basketball, or do you just like to keep it separate?
I definitely keep in touch. Over the summer is our primary time where we get to, relax.
Yeah.
So over the summer, I tend to just text and talk with guys. I may see guys occasionally, if they're around the area, but for the most part, I just like to, be with family and get away from basketball for a little while.
So you're a family-oriented guy.
Very much so, very much so.
So what do you do with your sister? Do you hang out with your sister over the summer, or does she have her own thing she does?
Me and my sister are very close. So over the summer, there's probably there won't be a time where you won't see us together. I mean, we're attached at the hip. So whether we're playing video games together or at the mall or going to the movies, I mean, me and my sister are like two peas in a pod.
Injuries happen in sports. So have you created a backup plan if a situation like that occurs?
Well, my primary backup plan is to try to do something in the doctor field, primarily cardiology. If I do get injured, because like you said, it is pretty hard coming back from certain injuries, but that's my primary backup plan.
Do you have any advice for students that want to be drafted for a college team, like practice tips, exercise, grades?
I would say the primary advice that I have is you should just really work hard, because you're not necessarily always going to be able to get what you want. You're not always, going to be able to get the scholarship or get the big time looks from Kentucky and the Dukes and you know what I mean, the very high major Division I schools. So I would say there's nothing that can stop you from getting to where you want to go, as long as you just put in the work that's necessary to get there.
So now we're going to do rapid fire questions. Hometown and high school.
Windsor High School, and I'm from Windsor.
Your iPod's top 3 pregame artists.
Meek Mill, Ace Hood, and I would say Miguel.
Height.
6'3",
Position.
shooting guard.
Favorite pregame meal.
I would say it's meat pasta and garlic bread.
What's the atmosphere like in the weekend? You play like a big school, Big East rival.
Big East rival like Syracuse or Louisville, and the away game is crazy. People look up stats, things about your family, your mom, your dad, your sisters. They'll be talking about your girlfriend just to try to get you out the game. Everybody, they cracking jokes. It's crazy. Sometimes it gets real volatile too. People say, you know what I mean, some things make people get up off the bench, but you can't.
How many autographs do you sign after the game?
So how do you feel about UConn not being able to play in the Big East tournament?
I'm definitely a little upset because we all enjoy playing in the Big East tournament, because it's an opportunity for us to prove to everyone that we're the best team, you know what I mean, in the Big East out of the 18 teams that are in the Big East. But it happens, you know what I mean, and we're kind of paying for mistakes that happened in the past, but we're just really looking forward to next season and moving forward.
Now, why aren't you able to play in the tournament this year?
To find out more about why UConn can't play in the Big East tournament, and to hear more of Alan's locker room talk with the Windsor High School boys basketball team, visit my website at www.facebook.com/KaitlynToday.